guys, welcome to the G.E.M, the Grand Enterprises Movement. Our mission is to motivate, to energize, to uplift, to encourage, and of course, to inspire one another each and every single day. Y'all, I am super duper excited. Super duper excited. We got the one and only guest star, Miss Mariah Manuel-Berry. Okay, I want to make sure I got the name right. So I'm super duper excited to have you. We have been planning this for a while, y'all. And finally, all the way from Detroit, Michigan. Yes, yes. My girl Mariah finally has been able to bless us with her presence today here on the G.E.M. And so I'm excited for you to tell our viewers who you are, what you do, and a little bit about you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much for just allowing me to be a part of this. I tell people all the time, and the word of the day has been grace. And it's through God's grace that even we met, we connected, and I'm able to be here with you. So thank you so much. I do not take it lightly. As you said before, my name is Mariah Manuel-Berry. I am the CEO and founder of Knowledge Career Experts LLC, and I started this organization or company, I should say, from the premise of I've been doing it for everyone else for so long. Why can't I do it for myself? And it really is a real opportunity and a platform for me to be able to help so many people and organizations, business owners, women, mid-year career professionals, which is like that, I'm in 10 years into my role or 30s, into their age, and they're really looking to break out of a shell and bust through the glass ceiling. And I offer consultancy services as well as coaching, a lot of training, a lot of development, and just the overall opportunity to do speaking engagements for some of our larger organizations. So yeah, it's based on my three key pillars, which I feel like have lived through my career. I started off very at a young age trying to figure out life and how do I almost like make it is the best way to
Mhm.
put it. You know what I mean? And really feeling like a lost a fish in shark water, so to speak. Trying to figure out like how do I get to the top of companies and organizations. And after years and years of growth and development and mentorship, what I found was that everything that I needed I already had inside of me.
Mm.
I just hadn't figured out how to use it. And that's what my organization does. So, the three pillars that I use to do that are mentorship, professional development, as well as culture. And that culture piece is that diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And I can tell you, no matter if I'm working with a nonprofit or for profit in the United States or Europe, what I found was is that those are three pillars that a lot of people, once they use them, they get to the next level. It's affording me to make six figures in my current organization as well as in other organizations, and to have my own business, be able to travel, really be able to set my daughter up for success and have what she needs for her future parts of life. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have been able to help people through this journey. So thank you for having me
I
again.
love that. Listen, I'm excited. And we was backstage while the intro was going, and we was already just excited. Um,
Yeah.
what I like is your tagline, and I don't know, I don't want to mess it up, but it's helping people reach their full potential to excel. And so, can you tell us a little bit about your tag and just how you came up with that?
Yeah, so it goes back to the premise of we already have it inside of us, right? So
Right.
I think a lot of what I found early on in my career, or even at that mid-career profession, and I really like to highlight that because I think early on in your career, you're more like, I don't know what I'm doing. I wish I knew what to do. Even if you're starting a business, right? You're like, I'm just trying to survive, right? But you know as well as I know, after you've been doing things for 2 seasons, congratulations, you saw
Whoop,
I
whoop,
snuck that in there. After
whoop.
you've been doing things for a little while, you're at that midpoint where you start to feel confident, not cocky, but you're also still trying to just make it to that next level. You're like, I know I got the stuff, but how do I get to that next level? And that's where mentorship comes in. I had a lot of mentors to guide me, to direct me, to almost breathe life into me through my journey of my career. And
Mm.
then that next piece is that professional development, which you have to be a lifelong learner. You have
Mhm.
to continue to learn things, unlearn things, relearn things, and be willing to do that if you truly want to excel. And then again, that last piece, that culture piece, because what I found was when I stopped being very closed minded to only working with certain groups or thinking
Mhm.
that I can only learn from a specific type of person. And I started to realize, especially post COVID, the whole world is up for grabs. So competition stopped being a thing. So now
Yes.
I partner with women and other individuals, and I'm open to partnership. Me and another speaker can get on the same stage, rock the same topic, do the same thing, dress the same way, and there's no competition
That's
because the world is available to us. So that tagline really goes back to understanding you already have it inside of you and you can excel. What you just need to do is make a few tweaks, like get that mentorship,
yeah.
keep working on your development, but also be open to the idea of what culture truly means and beyond thinking of race, sex, age, and gender, because it's so much bigger than that.
Absolutely. And speaking of mentorships, I think that like people feel like once they've reached a certain point in their business, like they're making money, business is going well, things are happening, that they don't need mentorship. And it's such a huge misconception that
Mm,
people have, that business owners, especially in the brown community, we don't feel like, oh, I don't need a mentor, I got this or whatever. But there are so many people at the level right above us that can
mhm,
teach us things to help us to really level up. And like you
mhm.
said, to reach that potential, we just have to be willing, right? And really getting the right mentors. Because sometimes how it can be. People like, oh, I mentor you, and they don't have the time, they don't got the energy, they can't
Mhm.
really give you what because they're thriving in their business and trying to continue to, pursue their goals. So sometimes they don't give the commitment. But I still think working with a mentor, like you said, is really key because you can feed off of their energy, you can learn from them, and so many other things. Anything else you want to tap into when it comes to mentorship?
Yeah, I am the queen of mentorship. I have so many mentors, so many, and I have them for different things, right? I have professional mentors, I have spiritual mentors, I have, mentors that help me with my mental health, mentors that help me with my physical health, but financial health. Like I need mentorship, and I really feel like you kind of mentioned something that is key. I always say that mentors get to see things in you before you even get to see them in yourself. And I think that is so key because my peer mentors see things in me before I see them in myself. Like I have business mentors, a young lady out of New York who I love, and we connected. And she's like, Mariah, you got this. And she's been in business longer than I have, but to hear her say, you got this, is like, okay, I got it. You know what I mean? You're like,
Yes.
okay, all right. And I have mentors that are younger than me. I've had a
Mhm.
mentor who I was at a point in my career where I really felt like you have to die in this organization. You don't like it, you don't love your role, you're not getting paid enough, all the things that are in a bad culture. I was there, but I was
Mm.
like, you don't go anywhere else. We stay here. We tough it out. We
Yeah.
see generationally our mothers and our fathers go to jobs that they probably didn't love or like
Mhm.
and just deal with it. And it was one of my younger mentors that told me, no, you don't. And I
I
was
know
like,
that's right.
what do you mean? And just having that younger generation kind of expand my knowledge and
Mhm.
show me something that I didn't think was possible, which is, you can do and go anywhere. You're not
Mhm.
tied to anything. The golden handcuffs is what we sometimes call it in the HR
Yes.
profession, and it doesn't have to be a reality. But again, I would say that mentorship needs to be big, it needs
Mhm.
to be everywhere. You need to, of course, be open to it, but you can learn from people younger than you, shorter than you, darker than you, lighter than you, man, woman. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
expand what that looks like because I can tell you some of the greatest mentors I've had transparently have been Caucasian men. because they
Mm.
taught me a different way of thinking that my mother
Mm-hmm.
couldn't teach me. My mother's a black
Yeah.
woman. You know what I mean? That my father couldn't teach me. My sisters couldn't teach me. That, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
growing up in the city of Detroit, my neighbors couldn't teach me.
Mm-hmm.
So it really helped me to see a different perspective because this person had a different upbringing than
Mm-hmm.
I had, so they could mentor me through their viewpoint. I hope that,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really good. That is good. And so again, to your point, we don't limit ourselves because you never know where those gems are gonna come from. Right here on the gem, y'all. Y'all here dropping it. So what has been like your greatest success thus far with launching your business and brand?
Oh, helping people. Like,
Mhm.
if you would have told me 3 years ago, you would, Mariah, you're going to start a business, have a baby, and change career twice, I would be like, no, you're not. No, I'm not. That's not happening. Who are you talking about? That's not me. And the amount of people I've been able to help even in those three spaces has been amazing. So like organizations and nonprofit organizations specifically have come to me even more recently and say, like, we need training around unconscious bias, implicit
Mm.
bias, especially in the health space. And I've had this knowledge. I've done this thing for large organizations, multiple organizations for my career, not knowing that it was laying the foundation for me to be
Mm.
able to share that information in a different capacity for myself to these organizations and offer it at such an amazing price, not to toot my own horn,
Right.
but I'm working with those people, like, and that's where the
Mm-hmm.
help comes in because I saw where organizations would, do something like implicit bias or unconscious bias. And I'm telling you, I've seen it $40,000. And I'm like, for what?
Mm.
like, what is that for? And not
Wow.
understanding or not knowing what are they doing. And then I'm able to work with these nonprofits who transparently they can't afford a
Right.
$40,000 training. They
Mm-hmm.
need that same level of quality and care.
Yeah.
I'm able to use my, master's degree, my over a decade of experience, multiple organizations I work for, create
Mm-hmm.
something for them that they can have forever, much lower than $40,000 because I like to work within their budget,
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, and I'm helping mothers. It's such a good feeling. Like
Mm-hmm.
it is such a resonation for me when I'm like, who I was before I became a mother versus who I am now
Yeah.
is a totally different woman. And now I'm starting to see why it's been so important for me to learn with that journey. And now I can help other women do the same thing. So
I
yeah,
love
so
that.
helping others, that's been the biggest thing. I
I
know it's
love that.
corny, but it's true.
No, but I love that. I mean, that's your journey. That's your testimony. Those are your gems, right? That's what
Yeah.
dropping gems, y'all. And then, of course, with great success, we also have failure.
Yeah.
Can you talk about a time where you failed, but you learned from that failure and you were able to overcome and do things differently so that that same obstacle would not be a barrier?
Yeah, I would, and this is something that I also help to teach and coach other business owners in. Get your business part together. I think especially for speakers, for example, because that is a big piece of what I do. I think everybody has a voice, everybody has a message, everybody has a story. And everybody could honestly make money off those things.
Mhm.
However, I will highly recommend, and I tell people this when they're starting a business off the back, create an LLC. Out the gate from the beginning, have your stuff in order or go whatever direction you plan to go. But I say all that to say, make sure your business is an actual business. It's an organized business. It's a functional business. Some of the things I learned early on is the things I don't like to do. I
Mhm.
don't like bookkeeping. Not that I can't do, I just don't like it. Like, I know I don't like it. So my tax people know I'm the girl that at the end of the year or when tax season come around, they're like, okay, Mariah, send us all your stuff, because I just don't prefer to do that part of the work. So I
Mhm.
invest in my business, that portion, because I also don't like to be in trouble with the IRS, you know.
That part.
So that is important. So yes,
Hmm.
I would say, that's one of the things I think I learned early on. I learned what I didn't like to do, and I learned how to invest in that portion of it versus stressing myself out as a
Hmm.
full-time mom, full-time worker, and part-time business owner.
Hmm.
I had to get very intentional where my time and energy went.
Nice, nice. What has been like one of your biggest compliments that someone has given you about your work?
I do something called Testimonial Tuesdays, and
Mm.
it's my opportunity to go and pull feedback or direct testimonies and things like that from events that I do. One event that I recently did, and I don't even know where I got this from. I'm part of Black Speakers Network. I'm like, where did I get that
We
event?
love BSN. Shout
Yeah.
out to BSN.
Yeah. So they offer all these great opportunities, and one of the opportunities that came was with a conference called the Rise Up Conference, and
Mm,
rising up. I was motivated by the title, so I click on it, and it was specifically for individuals who had been incarcerated,
mm,
and they were doing this virtual conference, and the individuals who had been incarcerated would offer knowledge around different key topics around development professionally and personally and all those things. And this was the first year they were going to actually open it up to not or people who had not been incarcerated. And I was like, I could do that, what I mean, like I would love to give back in this manner. And I got such great compliments from that experience. And it was the first time I realized the work that I do around diversity, the work that I do around equity and inclusion and belonging is so much bigger than the general stuff. You know what I mean? It's not
mhm.
age, it's not just race, it's not just like I was able to take a topic and a piece of me, a piece of what I do in my business and make it work for individuals who had been in prison.
Wow.
I
Wow.
mean, and they
Wow.
were being able to take that knowledge and use it as a tool to help them outside of prison. Like that's life changing. That's world changing 101. You know what I mean? So yes, and I got great compliments and I was like, I hope the message resonates. I've never been in prison. I've never been to jail. So I'm like, I hope I don't say anything that's offensive. I was very thoughtful and they were so receptive to the information and it really made me feel like okay, this message works no matter where you've been in life and it works for anywhere that you want to go into the future. So yeah, that's been the biggest compliment I received.
I like that. And it's again in a field that you weren't necessarily well versed, but you figured out a way to connect them all, which is
Mhm.
amazing, amazing. If you could go back in time to your 18-year-old self and
Okay.
give her some advice, what would it be and why?
18-year-old self. Yeah, it would be probably about finances. Like that has always been it's another reason why I started my business. So I am one of probably so many individuals who are going to listen to your podcast and be like, "Yes, girl." I am one of the many who were sitting around saying, "Ooh, they're going to forgive our student loans. Oh, I'm so excited because I have $120,000 in student loan debt. And I know people are like, why haven't you paid that off yet? It's a lot easier said than done because life happens. You buy a house, you get married, you need a car to get back and forth. COVID hits, and then you know what I mean? So there have been opportunities for me to completely pay it off, but at the expense of a different life. The reason I would go back to 18-year-old self is because I'll never forget, and this was probably a little bit older than 18, but even in high school at Cass Tech, they were talking about scholarships and talking about all the things that you need to do to prepare for college. And I did some of it, but not obviously not enough. And then even in college, I remember people would say, well, start to pay back your loans now. You know what I mean? Like when you get the refund check, send it back to them. Girl, we wasn't sitting that check. See, you doing the face because you know. we was, I mean, like I did good stuff with it, paid off my rent, got my car, made sure I had but I mean, we weren't sending that money back. You know what I mean? So I wish younger Mariah would have been like, they are not going to forgive your student loans. You're going to have this debt forever unless you pay it off. So that's what younger self would tell current self.
I love that. I love that. I'm laughing because that's it's what I know. But you
Yes.
know what they do? I'm actually in the student loan forgiveness program, working in the nonprofit sector and actually being a nonprofit business owner. So I get to still, do that piece of it, being in that line of work, like working in the nonprofit industry. You know that you can actually still get your loans forgiven after 10 years or 120 payments.
God is
So
good because he just blessed me with my first nonprofit role. I have
see, look
been,
at
yes,
you.
and my husband was like, "Well, what do you want to do next?" I said, "I think I
Wow.
want to go work for a nonprofit. Like, I think it's time." Like, to your
Yeah.
point, I have a sister-in-law who went to medical
Yeah.
school. She's a doctor now, and she's at her 10 years next year. And that
Mm.
feeling of it's
Yes.
done. I want that feeling. So I got 10 more years, but
But
now
that's
that
okay.
I've learned that those 10 years are a lot faster than
Hmm.
30 years of trying,
Absolutely.
and it never happens. So
Absolutely.
absolutely, yeah.
I got about 4 years left,
Go,
and
girl, go,
I'm
go,
like,
do it, go.
and actually, it's funny because you can actually retroact. So they will retroact to any time that you worked for a nonprofit. So
Hmm.
the work that you do with nonprofits as a consultant, you can claim that because you're working for them. So the time that you spent doing that consultant work, you can also claim that as part of your work with a nonprofit.
You
As
better
long as
drop
it,
that gem.
oh
You
yeah, yeah,
better
I'm
do
dropping
it on
gems.
this.
Y'all, like, this ain't the session for that. I'm a drop. Yes,
Look,
I
all of a
can show
sudden,
you how to
Mariah the
do that.
host. Yeah, you in the seat. Yeah, go drop that gem, girl.
I'm telling you, that student loan thing ain't no joke. But a lot of people don't know that they can do that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Or they
yeah.
get
So
discouraged. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
my companies and my experiences have been nothing but
Mhm.
favor and grace, and I've
Yeah.
been so happy. I would never change my experience with my career because it taught me a lot.
Yep.
But I would say in the beginning, you get discouraged about nonprofit work because you're
Mhm.
thinking, oh, it's going to be the hardest work ever. It's
Mhm.
going to be the longest work ever. It's going to be the least paid work ever. And I think, a place now where we are as a society and a
Mhm.
world, you can make a lot of money in nonprofit work.
Absolutely.
You probably could have in years past. I would say that you can still make six figures plus. You can still,
Mhm.
you don't have to have
Yep.
bad benefits and things like that. So
Yeah.
organizations, I think, are being very more thoughtful because
Mhm.
of the way that the workforce has changed. You know what I mean? Now
Absolutely.
you have people who kind of require certain things versus those
Mhm.
who probably didn't have as many needs as we have.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is facts. If you could have coffee with a historical figure, who would it be and why?
Michelle Obama, please
I
sit down
love it.
with me if she is watching the pot. Michelle, First Lady. Yeah, no, it would definitely be Michelle Obama. First, because I would just love for her to mentor me. I would love
Mm.
for her. I
Yeah.
would pick her brain like her brain has never been picked before. We'd take a selfie. We would do a video together. She would sign her book, Becoming Me. So yeah, I think she's just even
Mhm.
outside of the White House,
Yeah.
I am still in awe by the woman that she is.
Yeah.
And I am in awe in the struggle that she publicly faced
Mhm.
and how she handled it. I don't know what she
Yeah.
said at home, but I know she made sure when the cameras were on, the lights were on, she showed up for us in a way that I think
Yes.
all Black women hope that they show
Yes.
up as, and we don't always get that. But she just really represented. So yes, Michelle.
Yeah. I love that. I absolutely love that. And I'm glad you picked somebody that was still alive because most people, they come on, they're like, oh, Martin Luther King or something. And I mean, all the great historical figures,
Right,
right?
right, right,
I
right. No, no.
mean, yeah,
I want to.
yeah,
I want to make sure just in case this podcast go viral, she get
right, right. Pick me up, Michelle.
right, 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 right here, Michelle.
Somebody said a couple episodes back, they said Denzel Washington, and their reasoning behind it was so good, and I was like, man, that's good. And they also picked somebody alive, and I was like, all right, cool. So, what piece of advice would you give someone who's just starting in their business, whether it's a new LLC, a nonprofit, or any kind of business structure? What kind of advice would you give them starting out, and then as they begin to um, lay out their growth plan, what
Mhm.
type of things would you recommend that they do from inception up through that growth plan?
Yeah, so I kind of said a little bit to begin with, but start off right. Everything you do for your business is an investment in your business. And I think, unfortunately, in certain circles or communities, I think it's been communicated poorly of how a business gets started and what's required and what is business versus not. So I say make it official from the beginning. Whatever your state laws are for you to be licensed and um, in order, follow those for sure. And then I think the other thing is invest in your business early on, and this will tie into another piece that I think isn't probably communicated enough is that you do not have to quit your job to start a business, and you don't have to quit your job to do well at your business. What you do have to do is find what I like to call booked and balanced, meaning that I am obviously trying to grow my business and I know I want to be successful in it, but I need to have balance, right? I need to be available to my full time organization that I'm committed to during the hours of operation. However, I need to run a business, which means that means I might have to get an intern, and I do have interns, or I might have to leverage AI, and I do leverage AI. You don't have to be on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram 50 hours a day, all days of night, and all times of day. In order to have a successful business, you just have to invest in your business in a way that allows you to do that. So I say, please, please do not quit your job and go, put that pressure on yourself unnecessarily, unless you really want to. But also, when you're working with organizations, meaning for full time work, you want to find someone who respects what you bring to the table. And I mean, your full, authentic self. So, my current company, they respect the fact that I'm a business owner, meaning that yeah, you may see me publicize myself a certain way. It's never going to be out of alignment with who I am and who you all hired, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be all about you, right? I'm that part of my life is mine, and that's okay. Um, but also, uh, they respect the idea of how I um almost work with clients is the best way I can put it. You know what I mean? Like there always is a conversation around conflict of interest for both parties, right? For myself and for them. But I'm going to respect their company and I ask that they respect my company, so yes, I just think that those are a few things that I think a lot of people are like hesitant about or really don't know. So you start your business the right way, you
Hmm.
invest in your business, and you do not have to quit your job to have a successful company and do it full time.
Yeah.
You can absolutely still be successful as a part-time business owner and grow into one to be full-time if you ever want to, or never go full-time if you never want to. It's up to you.
Hmm. And I like the fact that you told people to be transparent.
Mhm.
Like I work a full time job too, and I run multiple businesses outside of my full time
Mhm.
job. I work full
Mhm.
time for a nonprofit, and I do a great job there. But I
Yes.
also run a successful organization LLC,
Mhm.
and it's growing as we speak, literally growing as we speak. And I'm not about to quit my day job to do that.
That's
And
it.
and those people who can make that plummet right into full-time entrepreneurship, I just take my hats off to you, but I just can't do that. So eventually maybe But, I enjoy juggling multiple things. People
Mhm.
always ask me, how do you do it? And I just say, you got to be transparent with your employer, like you said. And
Yep.
then also being open and honest with yourself. To what can you do and not do? Like, I recently had a conversation with somebody, and we were talking about the fact that I'm winning more grants and stuff, and I have more contracts coming my way, because that's my business, right?
Mhm.
But then I had another opportunity come in the midst of that, and they were like, can you really honestly do all of that? Like, just ask yourself, because I'm not the one that's going to tell you not to do it, but I'm just saying,
Right.
like, really look at your plate. Is it full?
Mm.
If your plate is full, do you really want to take on more and then risk all of the other business that you have on the plate? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
not really give it, its full attention as it needs. And then I was like, well, I need to think about that, because while this other thing was a great opportunity, because it
Right.
was a nice large lump sum up
Mhm.
front, but
Mhm.
it will take more of my time, and I'm actually getting contracts in from my own business that I didn't have to take this other contract. So I just was like, that person made a great point, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna focus on what I'm doing, because
Yeah.
it's my thing, it's my baby,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna keep growing my baby.
Yeah,
So
and it's interesting. I have that same conversation with myself a lot, and it's really around the time that I give to like networking and going to
mhm,
events and stuff like that. And I see my peers who are in the same industry. They're out shaking hands, kissing babies, taking, and like their marketing is booming on LinkedIn and things like that.
right,
And I I do have the capacity. I don't want to. Like, and I know that. Like, I love people. I can network all day, all night. I can shake hands. I can do all that. I have a 6-month-old baby. I
oh,
want my
oh,
time to be with her. You know what I mean? So
yes,
like, so like similar to what you're saying,
yeah,
like that conversation of should I really?
right,
I have that conversation a lot, but it's generally speaking with, do you really want
mhm,
to take your afternoon after being at work all day, working from home,
mhm,
right? But your daughter's been with her nanny and now
mhm,
it's afternoon time. Do you really want to put that pressure on yourself of going to network and be around other professionals, which can be great on this like normal, consistent, you know what I mean?
right, right,
For me, I have to negotiate with myself and say, like, all right, if I make
mhm,
X number of networking events or do X number of partnerships or things like that, I'm good. I feel good about what I did. I've done a good job versus the pressure of doing it all, right? And not giving the time where it needs to be. So yeah, kudos to you.
absolutely, absolutely, yep. See, we are smart
It's the
entrepreneurs.
new I was gonna say, and it made me think of something, and I've
Not
been
that
playing
anybody else
around
is.
with this. It's the modern day woman, the modern day
Yes,
mom, the modern day worker, however you want to say it.
yeah,
Where think about it, even when we go into
yeah,
companies now, like we're going to
mhm,
work saying, I also got this other stuff. You know what I mean? Back
right,
in the day, you would
right.
not do
You
that.
would not say that. That is so true.
You know what I mean? But I
Yep.
feel confident when I do that because I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm the modern day look for the
Yes.
future. Sometimes we doing it because we love to,
Mm-hmm.
we ain't got no choice. Like we got student on
Right.
deck. We gotta do both, right?
Right. Right. But we're gonna get that student loan debt forgiven, and I'm gonna show you
Yes,
some
in
ways.
the name. Touch and agree. Me and you.
Yes. So listen, what other podcasts do you listen to? What are your like top three other podcasts that you listen to
Oh, okay. So I'm
or
horrible with
watch?
names. I was gonna say I'm the worst with names, but I would tell you the kind of podcast. So there is a podcast that I love, love, love. And this podcast is all about financial health. I am horrible with names. I will not be able to tell you what exactly it's called. But basically, the premise is these two individuals on two sides of the spectrum. One person who has owned multiple businesses, living his life. He's a great investor in his, older generation. And you have this younger guy who is just getting started in investment. He's learning the process. He's getting better at time. And I feel like that podcast is so helpful for me because I'm hearing their viewpoint, their perspective from two different lenses. And I don't have to take it all. You know what I mean? I can just pinch off a little bit and apply it, and pinch off a little bit and apply it. I listen to a lot of financial podcasts. Financial health is important. I think even when you are, paying off student loan debt, paying off mortgages and things like that, there are small little things that you can do that can have a bigger return in the long run. Um, Other podcasts that I listen to, transparently, I was just pregnant 6 months ago, and I still listen to these mommy podcasts.
Of
So
course.
any mom podcast about this is how you raise the child, this is how you run from the child, this is how so right now my daughter is teething. So I'm listening to
Mm,
all podcasts about how do you get through teething, so I think mommy podcasts are another big piece for me.
hmm. Cool. I love it. I love it. Absolutely. And then, what's one question that you wish I would have asked thus far that I haven't?
You ain't all of my business. Man. I'm an open book. So I don't think there's nothing you well, okay. I think something that will be helpful to me is
Hmm.
about next year. So
Next
ask
year.
me about next year.
All right. So, what's going on with next year? What do you got in store for next year,
Oh,
Bo? Ah, tell us. Tell us.
2025. Can you first of all take
I
that
know.
in? Take it
That's
in.
crazy. That's crazy.
2025. I
Uh,
don't know what you were doing in January, but I don't think I realized there was a 2025 coming. First of all, it
right.
was is really going to be interesting. It'll be my 20th year anniversary from graduating high school.
Wow.
I'm old.
Wow.
Woo!
So am I.
That's the first thing. But yeah, but next year business wise, it is my goal. It is a passion of mine. It is a focus of mine to here's where that balance comes in. And take on no more than 10 clients a year. That is
Hmm.
that is my goal. And much of what you said is the reason why. When
Hmm.
I'm working with a client, I'm giving them everything I got. So I
Hmm.
don't have the capacity to give everything I have to every single person.
Yeah.
Three of those 10 are nonprofits. I take at least three nonprofit organizations because I want to work in their budget.
Yeah.
I want to be available to them and hopefully can help them in their organization to grow in whatever way that means. It means more people coming to their next event or joining their organization or them making more money to help
Hmm.
whatever endeavor. That's important to me. The
Hmm.
other thing that I've been working on, I'm very excited about it, but I'm gonna tell you it's in the works. It's heavy in the works. It's more work with mothers. So I've been
Hmm.
working on
Hmm.
really building a community
Yeah.
for mothers. So I
Yeah.
won't tell you everything
Don't
about
tell us everything. It ain't ready yet. The
it.
new year is
It's not ready,
it's yeah,
but
not
I
yet.
will
But you
tell
but
you.
please come back and share it with us
I
when it
will.
launch.
I will. I learned
Yes.
so much through motherhood and this modern day approach.
Yeah.
I remember, getting pregnant and, my story, we can always talk about that at a later date, but I went through the IVF process.
Oh wow.
And my husband were trying for 3 years
Oh
and,
wow.
God blessed us with our daughter. And after going
Wow.
through that experience, I can tell you that that feeling of now you have to go back to work.
I know.
It was like, whoa, at that 12-week point, 12 weeks was a long time. My
Yeah.
organization was very giving. And I worked from home. So you would think like,
Mm.
now, well, this shouldn't be
But
a
it's
problem.
not enough. It's not enough.
It's not enough, right? And
Hmm.
there's that postpartum that people
Yes.
highly don't talk about enough, in my opinion. I had a doula, but I went through postpartum stress. I had major surgery after. It was a
Oh
lot.
wow.
ICU for we. I went through a
Oh
lot,
wow. Wow.
and the reason why I need to give back to mothers is because I found through that journey that there's so many mothers like myself who we
Hmm.
don't want to stop our career. We're not
Hmm.
looking to retire, but we want to be mothers
Right.
also. We want to
Hmm.
show up for them in a way that maybe our mothers weren't able to. So
Hmm.
that's what I'm working on. I'm trying to
Wow.
find a way to make that happen for our mothers.
Oh, you better get your butt back here next year. So you could bless the gem with that update, okay? Because we are
Yes,
excited
yes,
to hear more
indeed.
about
Yes,
that.
indeed. Yes,
For
indeed.
sure. And I'm hoping that you can come to the end of the year and bring the baby. Bring the baby.
I was gonna
And the
say,
nanny. And the
see,
nanny.
as you see, you already heard my story. If I can't bring my
Yes.
kids, my college dance team reached out to me. They, was it, like the homecoming came
Oh,
around. They're like, we're doing homecoming. We're gonna have a table. Everybody come. I said, can you bring your kids? I know they like, girl, come on now. I'm like, look, I'm a mother now. I need to be able to bring my baby. I got
all right.
my baby dog needs to come. The husband, can you bring?
The
It's a
dog, not the
family,
dog.
a family event at the homecoming. I
The
tried to make
whole
sure.
family. Even the
Yes,
dog.
yes, indeed, yes,
So
indeed.
listen, I want to know what gems have people shared to you and that have made an impact in your life that now you share those same gems with others and hope with the hopes to make an impact in their life.
Absolutely. So I have a full list that is available. And I would share with anybody who reaches out to me via LinkedIn or email or whatever. So
Mm.
your guests are open to it. It's
Okay.
called 10 Things My Mentors Taught Me. And it's my list of the top
Wow.
10 things that my mentors have put into my life that I felt has really helped to catapult a lot of what I do.
Nice.
And I'll tell you one of the top things, and I won't directly quote it, but it's around the idea that goes back to where we started, which is knowing who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And really being open to that learning experience. My bishop is one of my
Mm.
mentors, and he said you should always be learning, unlearning, and relearning.
Mm.
And I
That's good.
think that has been really how I've been able to continue to develop myself. Because when we go into new organizations, I don't care if you're a business
Mm-hmm.
owner or if you're there for a full-time job, you are learning something new. You're having to unlearn things that you thought you knew, and you got to relearn something else again.
That's right.
So yes, I think from a consultancy standpoint, from a client experience, a member experience standpoint, that has really been something that's resonated with me, and I would share with anyone and say make sure they're doing.
I love that. So that theme, y'all, around mentorship for sure. And
Mhm.
then we got to definitely get that list. But if you could be remembered for anything, what would it be? What would you want your legacy to be?
I think really that I was a person who helped people see things in themselves that they didn't know they had. Like
Mhm.
it's the power of mentorship, but it's also the energy that I hope I bring into the room in every room that I go
Yeah.
into. I hope that when I'm working with my clients and challenging them, or when I'm
Mhm.
on a stage and asking the audience questions, that they're not just feeling, oh, another, right? But they also feel that aha moment, that
Mhm.
spark, that thing that makes them get up and go
Mhm.
do something, to
Right.
have a different idea. So yes, I will hope that that's what I do when I leave here.
I love that. I love that. And then, can you please tell all of the viewers where they can find you, how they can follow you, and all of that good stuff?
Yeah, LinkedIn is my platform of choice. I feel
Yes.
like LinkedIn does all things. It helps me a lot. It guides me a lot. So
Mhm.
yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn under my name, Mariah Manuel-Berry.
Mhm.
So yeah, so they can reach out to me there, or my email address is CEO at knowledgecareerexpertsllc.com.
I love it. I love it. Well, listen, thank you so much for rocking with the Jam. We truly, truly appreciate you. And I just thank you for your patience, your understanding, your
Yes,
grace, your
yes.
grace.
See,
And I just,
word of the day.
I know, right? I really appreciate that. And I am looking forward to bringing you back in the new year once you've launched your mommy program organization, whatever that may look like. And also, if you are available to come back to come in person in January for our end of the year amazing gala. It's going to be cute and fancy, y'all.
As long as I can bring my dog, I'm playing. I'm playing.
Yeah, you can bring the dog and the baby. But yeah, and you can bring up to two friends. So for sure, Well, 3 friends, your partner, and of course 2 of the friends or whatever. But yes, so thank you, thank you, thank you for your patience. I definitely appreciate that, and just an amazing conversation. The gems that people drop here on the gems really make me think, and make me kind of aspire to do so much more. And I hope
Mhm.
that the people that are watching feel the same way. I mean, I get a lot of feedback that people just love the different gems from different people coming on, sharing their stories, sharing what they do in business, and just their journey. Their journey, excuse me, for growth. But we just appreciate having you here today, Mariah, and just looking forward to doing more things in the future.
Yes,
Absolutely.
indeed. Sky's the limit. Sending all
Yes.
my love to you and
Thank you.
hoping that everything you are asking for in the new year comes to fruition. So you
I
can do it.
received
I'm here for you.
that.
I'm here for you.
Amen. 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 Thank you so much, Mariah. And thank you for rocking with the gem. We appreciate you. All right. Bye.